Hello and welcome to Getting Your Money's Worth, the show that focuses on value. I'm Judith West, and our guest today is Greg Karp, author of Living Rich by Spending Smart. Sounds good to me, Living Rich by Spending Smart. Thanks for being on the show.
Sure.
I mean, I think that many people today would have have a hard time, Greg. Is it Greg or Gregory?
Greg, yeah.
Have a hard time, Greg, imagining themselves living rich. Is living rich all about how much money you have?
No, not always. Certainly not. It's about being comfortable with what position you're in and doing things with your money that make you happy. You know, ultimately that's what it's all about. And money's only good for one thing. It's spending, right? So you just got to know whether you're spending today, tomorrow.
But isn't that the problem that most people have, that they spend too much?
Absolutely.
They spend more than they have?
Yes, exactly. And we have to get back to that fundamental thing, right? Is don't spend more money than you have.
We're already seeing what goes on when people spend what they don't have.
Right, and I don't blame people really for that, because that's really inbred in us from back in our cavemen days, is to consume immediately. And we have more opportunity today to consume immediately because we have the availability of credit, and we can shop 24 hours a day. See, our grandparents didn't have to deal with this.
I know. They couldn't go online and buy whenever they felt like it.
Exactly.
And people, I read about people that order things online, they don't even bother opening them.
Oh, yeah. There's people with clothes in their closets still have the tags on them.
Right.
It's crazy.
Okay. So you give some examples, and I like this about your book. I mean, that you give some examples of some everyday kinds of things that people can do to conserve their spending. And I see you brought some stuff with you. But before that, I thought it was very interesting. You relay the story of this man that got a lot of press that lost so many 100 pounds with Subway.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right. What was his name? I forgot.
Jared.
Jared.
Yeah,
So he lost like 200 pounds being on the Subway diet, and we saw all that in the press. But you point out that he spent about $5,000 a year on those Subway sandwiches and a bag of baked chips.
Right.
And if he had had the same thing from home, he would have spent maybe $5 a day, which doesn't sound like a big deal, $8 a day, until you annualize that, and it's $3,000 a year.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the little things add up, and that's so hard to convey to people because they only see the small amount I'm spending today. But the truth is, you can't out-earn dumb spending. That's kind of the big,
you can't out-earn dumb spending.
Right.
Okay, so you have some stuff with it you here that looks interesting.
Yeah.
Are these little ways to save some money?
They are, and these are just examples of ways you can spend less painlessly.
Okay, so give us an example.
Well, one example is a compact fluorescent lamp, what we call a fluorescent bulb. Now, in our grandparents' generation, these were not good, or our parents' generation, but they did not give off good light. They're so much better today than they used to be. They use a quarter of the electricity that an incandescent bulb uses, and they last, this one guaranteed to last 9 years.
9 years?
Not 9 months.
Lasts?
9 years.
Oh my gosh.
So it ends up being less expensive to buy in the first place.
And this fits into a regular socket?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I would recommend people replace their 5 most used bulbs with these. Wow. And these cost about $1.50 a piece, which is more than the 50 cents you pay for an incandescent. But you're going to use one of these and use, what, 10 or 15 incandescents during the life of one of these. So it's cheaper up front, and it's cheaper to operate.
And they use less energy.
A quarter of the electricity.
Okay, so this is something not only that people can do to spend less, to as you say, spend smart. I'm going to take those home, to spend smart, but also there's the double whammy of conserving on energy.
Absolutely, and there's so many ways where consuming smart for our wallet is also good for the environment.
That, conserving smart for our wallet. Well, you talk about another one that is a really biggie, and that's bottled water.
Bottled water, and that's another tremendous example of something that's good for the environment and good for your wallet, and that's don't drink disposable bottled water. It's not any better for you. Taste test after taste test have shown people can't tell the difference.
It's kind of a scam on sometimes.
It is a scam, and you know I don't want to pick on particular companies, but Evian spelled backwards is what? Naive.
Naive. That's a good point. Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, just use tap water or filtered tap water.
I've seen pictures of the waste that these. How many? Really, I mean, more years than you can think of it takes for these plastic bottles to decompose.
Not only that, but the oil it takes to make the bottle in the first place, the gasoline it takes to transport the bottle, and then, yeah, you got to get rid of the bottle.
You know how much these bottled water, they're more than soda.
Oh, they're more than gasoline.
Yeah, these bottled water, there's a tremendous amount of money.
It can be $10 a gallon.
So what are you saying to do? Put your own water in here?
Yeah, put tap water, and if your tap water has a little chlorine taste, maybe put it through a filter. These filters are cheap, just a pitcher filter, and then fill up your own water bottle and bring it with you. It's so much cheaper and so much better for the environment at the same time.
Right. And I bet you could save $20 a week if you stopped buying bottled water.
I've seen estimates as high as $2,000 a year. People spending on bottled water.
$2,000 a year on bottled water?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the higher estimates I've seen, but man, it can be hundreds at least, especially if you're a regular drinker of bottled water.
I mean, some of these places, even on the airlines, on the airlines, you can get any drink without charge except a bottle of water. They charge $3 for a bottle of water. You get a glass, but not a bottle.
And water falls from the sky for free. What's going on here?
Okay, so we got light bulbs and bottled water. What else do you have?
Well, these are my eyeglasses. These are for me. They're my prescription. I got the frames and the eyeglasses. They cost me $8.
Oh, come on.
$8.
These are prescription?
Prescription eyeglasses with the frames.
With the frame.
Polished, everything, $8 online. I got another pair that I'm getting a little older, bifocals, no-line bifocals. Those were much more expensive. I got every add-on you could possibly get, and those cost $68.
What did you do? You found this place online and you sent your prescription?
Yep. That's exactly it. It's zennioptical.com.
Zenni?
Z-E-N-N-I.
Right.
Optical.com. And you go on there and just put in your prescription, and they send you your glasses in about a week.
Son of a gun. That's
$8.
$8.
Yep.
Do you know how much these glasses are when you go into
these would cost $350 easily.
Yeah, easily.
$350.
Easily.
And my bifocals would have cost $500 easily. I paid $68. Tremendous. Now, these are just examples, but this is the way you can spend less in your everyday life.
Well, okay, you talk about being. We're talking about examples. I mean, water, but you're saying take a whack at the biggies, the big expenses, and you have an acronym, FIT, F-I-T,
right?
And these are you call the big expenses: food, insurance, and technology. Okay, well, food prices are certainly on the rise.
They sure
are.
And
we touched on one thing, which is how much more does it cost to eat out, as a rule of thumb, than eating at home?
Oh, it's going to be quadruple at least.
Right.
Depending on what you're eating.
Yeah.
But the big idea with food, and I call this being financially fit: food, insurance, and telecommunications.
Financially fit. Yeah. Okay.
With food, there's eating in and eating out. Those are the two types of food. And so with eating in is supermarket shopping. What you want to do is go to the supermarket and not buy what you need, buy what's on sale and stock up.
Oh.
Put it in your pantry, put it in your freezer. It's a little harder for people who don't have a lot of room in their place.
In some of these urban areas.
Right, but that's a great way to do it. And then when you need something, you go to your own pantry and get your jar of Skippy peanut butter that you bought on sale instead of going to the market and buying it at full price.
What do you think about buying these off-brand generic type cereals and things?
Fantastic idea, and this is the reason why.
Do you know how much whole cereal is, boxed cereal?
Oh, it can be wildly expensive if you don't buy it on sale.
Right.
And now the store brands are so much better than they used to be. We used to call them derisively generics, and they were bad. Yeah. They were bad. Now they're so much better. They're made by the same manufacturers that make the name brands. A lot of people don't know that.
They don't know that, right?
Exact same thing. So you might even like the store brand better than the name brand. It's worth trying.
Certainly worth trying. Okay, so there's some obvious ones. But also, I think I want you to inject here too. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out when you feel like it. I think you make a point in your book that one of the reasons to make money is so you can enjoy spending it.
Absolutely, and I don't ever advocate being a cheapskate. That's not what this is all about. This is about plugging the leaks of wasteful spending and redirecting that money to things you truly care about.
So indeed, some of these tips, you'll tell us something more, can give you some freedom to have money to spend for other kinds of things that you can enjoy.
Exactly. It's liberating. It's not confining.
Well, I have to say something, Greg. I have to ask you about this. I saw that you even advocate that being financially fit helps your sex life.
It very well could. I mean, how many marriages even end because of money problems?
Absolutely.
You know.
And if you're not stressed or worried about, when you're stressed and worried, when your spending is out of control, there's that layer of stress on you all the time, no matter where you are.
Absolutely, and it's unavoidable when there's that money stress, and especially debt stress.
Yeah.
It's very damaging to relationships.
But debt stress comes from out of control money.
It does, mostly out of control spending.
Rather.
Yep.
And as you make a point that even if you could wish that somebody would come along and clear up all your bills with a credit card, if you didn't start to use some of these strategies of spending smart, all that would happen is you'd
Wouldn't
be right
matter
back.
a bit.
Right. Okay, what else do you have for us here?
Well, I got something here.
Is that telecommunications?
This is telecommunications.
That's the T in fit.
Right, exactly. Now, this is called MagicJack. It's available at MagicJack.com. I got no affiliation with these companies.
MagicJack.
But what it has on one end is a USB port. Plug it into your computer. The other end, a telephone jack. Plug your telephone in there.
Wow.
$20 a year for unlimited phone service, unlimited long distance, voicemail, call waiting, call forwarding, everything. $20 a year.
What is this again?
MagicJack.com. It's a MagicJack with just a small device. It uses your high-speed internet connection as a telephone line.
Do you know how much telephone bills are, telecommunication bills? And even if you try to, you can't even understand them, Greg.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's all jumbled up in one fee. I think you call it bundling.
Yeah, and that's another reason that brings up this. This is my prepaid phone. It has no extra taxes, no extra charges. I pay for my minutes. I know exactly what I'm paying for. And I'm going to save $800 this year by using prepaid. Now, prepaid used to be...
Phone?
You buy your minutes ahead of time and just load them up onto your phone, and you don't get a bill. No bills ever. And so you only get charged for what you use.
Well, how do you know when you run out of minutes?
It tells you right on the screen. Tells you how many minutes you got left.
Oh,
and you use a credit card and buy some more. It's so much, especially for people who don't use their phone for tons and hundreds and hundreds of minutes. If you're 300 minutes or below, prepaid is probably the way to go.
I think considering the use of cell phones in large urban areas, where this ought to be mandated, it might keep people off the phone endlessly from talking about nothing.
Now, if you're using thousands of minutes, that's different. Then a postpaid plan probably does work for you.
Greg, I want to ask you something. Can anybody, even if people who feel like they're living, we don't have much time left, even if people feel like they're living on a very limited salary, can this work for everybody?
Absolutely, because what we've shown today is this is stuff you are buying every day anyway. You have to buy it. I'm not talking about buying extras. I'm saying spend smarter every day, and you'll have money to reach your financial goals, whatever they are, whether that's kids' college savings, retirement savings, or even taking a Caribbean vacation. It's what your goals are, and you spend less on what you don't care about so you can refunnel that money to things you do.
You have in your book some of the worst offenders for wasteful money. What were some of those again?
Oh, we talked about bottled water. That's certainly one.
Yeah.
Inkjet printer, cartridge
inkjet
refills.
printer, right.
Oh, man, doesn't that make you so mad?
Make you sick, right. Anyway, well, I loved your book, Living Rich by Spending Smart, and I'm so happy you brought these. First of all, I'm taking these home with me, but I'm definitely getting this MagicJack. That appealed to me. Thank you very much. You have a very good story, and certainly in these times, there's not one of us that can't use this. Living Rich by Spending Smart. Thank you for watching Getting Your Money's Worth.